Hello and welcome to another update video about VeChain. Yeah, on the VeChain chart, price did break out of this descending broadening wedge, which is typically a bullish breakout setup. So it broke above the trend line, respected the trend line first, then broke above it and is now trying to form a five-wave structure. Actually, it has completed a five-wave structure that I would not really want to call an impulse. It has to be a diagonal. Why not an impulse? What you need to understand, in Elliott wave, we're ideally looking for impulses for the most reliable trade setups. Now, there is no impulse here. The reason is that, first of all, the wave one is clearly a three-wave structure. So it would need, the whole thing needs to be a diagonal. And also, if I measure the Fibonacci extensions for the third wave, you can see that the third wave, highlighted here, did not reach the 1.618 Fibonacci extension. So it only reached the 1.236 extension, which is not reliable for an impulse. From that point of view, we have to assume it's a diagonal. Could it be an impulse still in the making? So as you can see, this swing high reached the 1.618 extension. Could it be that the third wave needs to move here? We're now doing a fourth and another high is coming. I wouldn't see this as a super reliable count, because what we have got here as a so-called wave one is just a three-wave move. I mean, anything is literally possible, right? But again, I don't have the clearest setup here, so I would need to shift things around. It seems like a forced wave count. So the idea is here anyway, I added support to the chart. The fact that we have a possible five-wave move up means that we can take a possible trend change back to the upside more seriously. As always, it will be the first deeper pullback that will tell us the truth. And the pullback could start now, but I'm not entirely convinced yet. It doesn't really look like a very strong pullback. It doesn't really look like an A wave yet, so I would not rule out that this wave one is extending a little bit higher. In fact, if it does extend higher, it should probably happen now, because you can add a trend line here and price is just pulling back to that trend line. So you have a possible bounce that could occur from here. And if it pushes above what I have labeled as the wave 5 high at 2.13 cents, then you have an extension of wave 1. Okay, it needs to break at least, or it needs to come down to at least 0.1833 for me to really consider it a wave 2 with a high likelihood. And if price comes back in a deep way now, gets a deep pullback, then in this area we are looking for reversal to the upside to rally in a third wave. This area is the area between 1.83 cents and 1.52, with the 1.74 cent level as additional support and 1.65. These are the support levels. In whatever VeChain is doing, if it breaks below 1.52 cents, it's going to likely take out the 10th of June low, make a new bear market low in this wave 5. Now, this is certainly getting far less likely now, this white wave count, due to the strength of the move up. But of course, what we cannot rule out is that something like an A, B, C structure is playing out here. I would then need to readjust the wave count. Might do that for the next video. It needs a bit of adjustment. What I want to highlight though by leaving the wave 4 here is that this could still be a corrective wave, because it is not an impulse, it's only a diagonal, and until proven, price needs to prove that we're dealing with an impulse here. It cannot really be trusted that the trend has shifted. The potential is there, we're tracking the potential, but price now needs to prove that by holding 1.52 cents. So I want to see a deeper pullback first into the yellow box, and then a break above the wave 1 high. Looking at some of the indicators, if we take a look at the daily chart, on the daily chart we already see that maybe this sort of upside cycle is now getting towards the end. We're already seeing a decline in positive momentum. MACD line hasn't really turned yet, but it's sort of in the process of turning possibly. So it would rather add to the idea that we are seeing here a wave 2 pullback now or very shortly. The daily still has a bit more space, obviously, to push higher into the overbought range. It hasn't done that yet. It doesn't need to in a wave 1. But for now, it's avoiding a bearish crossover here on the daily. Now, if we get a bearish crossover here on the daily and the MACD is reducing positive momentum further, that would add to the view that we are getting a deeper pullback or even make a new low. Yeah, so again, it needs to prove itself. On the 4-hour chart, you can see that momentum has definitely shifted negatively. Yeah, we see that increase in negative momentum and are about to get a cross below the 0 level. And also the RSI is back in the bearish range, and we had a bearish divergence here on the 4-hour chart, all adding to the idea that we should see further decline here in wave 2 shortly. And if we see it, and by the way, it's holding the trend line for now, but if it breaks below the trend line, we have a first, I would say, reliable signal that the wave 2 has started. The A wave, for me, this move down doesn't look impulsive enough yet. Typically in the A wave, I'd like to see a sharp decline. I don't see it at this stage. So I would use the trend line as an additional indicator that we are coming down in the wave 2. Until then, obviously, it can easily bounce off here, and you can use trend lines as setups as well, you know, trend line pullbacks and so on. It's just not really a reliable one in terms of setup that I want to show here, but obviously it's respecting the trend line. So let's see if it reacts, and if it breaks above the wave 1 high, I would rather see it at the moment as an extension of the wave 1 and price possibly trying to create an impulse instead of just a diagonal. But at the moment it's a diagonal, so if it comes back now, be aware that we cannot really trust it at this stage, but there is a chance it will turn around in this support area. Okay, that's my update about VeChain. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.